Hello. Are you
Oh,
got me?
there, it's low belt. We'll turn our volume down just a touch there. Okay. Can you hear us back?
1, 2, 3 testing. I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Great.
Perfect. All right, so right now it's kind of the similar startup as the 22. While we wait for the clutch light to go out, we can start turning on our COM 1. Usually turning that guy to just about 9 o'clock works.
Okay. So, got to 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and then you can pull and test the volume. Yeah, that sounds good. And then that guy, that top knob, can come over to like 1 or 2 o'clock.
All right.
That's usually where I start on that. Clockwise. Okay.
Want to pull out same way?
That one you have to push it in, but it won't do anything quite yet because it's not woken up yet. So we'll give that one a second. All right, where are we?
Avionics sets it on. Clutch is out. Warm up engine. So should I roll it to 670?
Yep. Yeah, just nice and controlled and smooth. All right.
So interesting. This one doesn't have a yellow region.
Right. It's just the in the 22 you get sympathetic resonance, and in this it just there's no harmonic that really does that. There's no RPM that they're really too worried about it. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All
70.
Right. So we're
Okay,
at 60
engine
to 70%. Now we're waiting for, oh, look at that, they're already green. That's good. And why don't you just go ahead and hit enter on that guy twice.
Where is it?
On the far right side, kind of in the middle. There. That says, okay, check and make sure all this stuff works. When you do your instrument rating, we'll worry more about that. For now, you can just hit enter.
Okay.
And there it's acquiring satellites. So now to use this to listen to our weather, this is your comm section up here, and this is your nav. We don't need the nav radios for VFR flying.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of focused up here.
Okay.
123.0, that's the Hollister, I think, but we want to listen to that. So to do that, I'm just going to hit the C button. And now the frequency up here is what we're listening to. RX means we're receiving, and we can hear it because we have our intercom switch up. That's our weather.
Okay.
Watsonville Municipal Airport, Watsonville, California. Automated weather observation 1810 Zulu. Wind 080 at 04. Visibility 10. Sky condition scattered 3000. Scattered 4000. Temperature 13 Celsius. Dew point 09er Celsius. Altimeter.
Traffic,
Remarks. Density altitude -300.
All right. Got all that? Or do you want to listen again?
California. Automated weather observation.
Yeah, that's the volume for it.
1810 Zulu. Wind 080 at 04. Visibility 10. Sky condition scattered 3000. Scattered 4000. Temperature 13 Celsius. Dew point 09er Celsius. Altimeter 3023. Remarks. Density altitude -300. Watsonville Municipal Airport, Watsonville, California. Automated weather observation 1811 Zulu. Wind 080 at 05. Visibility 10. Sky condition
0805.
3000. Scattered 4000.
Okay.
Temperature 13 Celsius. Dew point 09er Celsius.
13,
Altimeter 3023. Remarks.
That's already set pretty
Density
much right there.
altitude -300.
All right.
Okay. So then he said 13 Celsius, right?
Yeah, so we'll kind of interpolate about a third of the way. 22.6 is probably close enough.
Okay. And so then 5-minute power is about
Adding 2.8 in
like
this instead of 0.9.
25.3.
Sounds good.
Okay. Oh. All right. Back here. So now we do our magneto check, huh?
Yeah, and so this is the same thing as the 22. We're going to bring it up to 75%.
5%. Feeling all right, Paul?
Sure. So when we do these checks, we want our left hand to be on the throttle.
Uh-huh.
And you can kind of lock that guy on your knees. There you go.
All right.
And let's bring it down just a hair, right to 75, just a touch.
Okay, that looks good.
Yeah, and we'll just do it one at a time.
All right, so here goes left. Okay, that looks...
Okay, and then back to both. And it's the same deal, no more than a 7% drop in 2 seconds. Then it comes back up all by itself. We don't have to crank a bunch of throttle on to get it there.
Okay.
And on this one, if you accidentally turn it off, just let it die and we'll restart the engine. You don't want to crank it back to both on these things.
Yeah, alright. Right. 1,000. 1,000. Okay, that looks good.
Perfect.
Alright. Cool, so
Okay.
doors closed and latched.
Yeah, I'm going to get mine in just a second here. So now we have sprag clutch check.
Oh.
So this is the same thing as the 22, so your hand comes all the way underneath, so your fingers are kind of wrapped over the top of it. So you keep basically on the throttle here, so you can't accidentally roll it on really fast.
Yeah.
And even then, you really don't get a good split on this thing when it's warm.
Oh, so I roll it off, right?
Yes, yeah. So you can run it up to about like 78 or so, and then just crack it off, and we'll let it come down and idle for a sec. There you go, and off. There, see just a little bit of split.
Okay.
They don't split very well when it's warm like this, so. All right, now I'm gonna close this. Okay, so there's that, doors closed and latch. We already checked our map chart. Collective and cyclic frictions off. I'm gonna turn the air conditioner on.
Cyclic off.
Counterclockwise, yeah. It's got hydraulics, so it's just gonna be like limp noodle in your hand when you're flying. All right, there's that, and then hydraulic system check. So we'll run up to about 70 or 75 again. We'll do our hydraulics check. The hydraulics check is just checking to make sure that there is in fact hydraulic pressure in the line, so we can just kind of move it, look up at the disc and kind of move back and forth just a little bit on cyclic, just like that, and you feel how there's no resistance at all.
Yeah.
And we can see the disc actually moving. That means that everything's working. So now we'll switch the hydraulics off, so that switch on the right there, that guy will come down. And now when we do the same thing, see, it takes a little bit more force after about an inch, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what we're making sure is that the hydraulics work.
Okay.
And then we can actually turn them off if we need to, and then back on. And same deal, just kind of a little bit of movement just to make sure that everything works again.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. So now we can put this checklist away, because the last thing we have to do is check our low RPM warning system before we get out.
Okay. Cool.
All right, so lights are out, gauges are all in the green. We've got fuel, there's no carb heat in here, which is awesome. So there's kind of a sweet spot with the cyclic where it doesn't shake so much.
You mind turning your volume up a little?
Yeah, check. How's that? 1, 2.
Yeah,
or do you want to turn it up on your headset? Would that help? How's that radio volume for you?
That's good.
Final runway 20, Watsonville.
Oh, maybe that's why.
Check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, that's
How's
good.
that? Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to turn our landing light on just because we're kind of a little cloudy and close to an airport.
Oh, I see. I had to turn the noise canceling on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's still good.
Cool. All right. Okay. So whenever you're ready, we'll get all hands and feet on the controls ready to fly, because anytime we're flying, or anytime we have above 80%, we want to be ready to fly the aircraft.
All right. Ready to go.
Okay, so now we can go ahead and roll it up to just about 80% and let the governor take over from there. There it goes. And we can see it tops out right at the top of the green, which here is 102%. As opposed to 104 and 22. All right, so now the low RPM warning system check. We're just going to bring the collective just a hair off the bottom. So just raise a little bit, and then roll that throttle nice and slowly down, just a little. Should get the horn come on at 97, then if we let go, the throttle brings it back up, our governor brings it back up, and it goes back off at 97.
Okay.
All right, now we can lower collective all around, or look all around, make sure we're clear left, clear center.
Yeah, looks clear.
Clear to the right, and I have the sunroof, we're clear above. All right, so whenever you're ready, we can go ahead and take off. Lights are out, gauges are green, we've got plenty of fuel.
All right, so yeah, it's still a work in progress for me, so.
Yeah, that's fine, I'll be right here.
So yeah, I usually kind of pick it up and feel it around to see where it's light on the skids.
Yeah, so we're just gonna kind of keep raising, and we've got 17 inches on the manifold pressure, so now our eye's gonna come outside. Off in the horizon, nice and relaxed.
Feeling a little something here.
Watsonville area traffic.
And as soon as we get light on the skids, we're gonna freeze that collective, don't let it move.
5 mile left base, runway 20, Watsonville.
Right about.
Yeah, so there's kind of light on the skids. So now we're gonna make all of our other adjustments, and maybe just a hair aft cyclic, maybe right around there. We'll kind of see what that does. So now we can kind of just continue this process until we're up in the air in a nice stable hover. So with our eyes focused outside, we'll continue nice and slowly raising. little bit of right cyclic, just a touch. There we go, look at that. Okay, now keeping our eyes out on the horizon, we're going to just kind of walk forward so we're not blowing a bunch of air and noise into the hangar here.
Runway 20 Watsonville.
So tail's clear to the left, we're going to go straight out to the taxiway.
All right. So not on the runway?
Right. We can, we'll just continue, do a right pedal turn here. Tail's clear to the left, so we can keep turning to the right. We'll just go straight out to the taxiway here, and we're just going to do another set down and pick up, just a little bit of practice.
Okay.
Always being mindful where our tail is. Keep an eye on these lights, the sign back there. Our eyes are out on the horizon. Nice slow walking pace. All right, and let's just do a little hover taxi maybe down to that intersection right there. Just kind of a nice, comfortable walking pace. And you'll notice we're at about 24, 25 inches. That's because we're fairly heavy. I put a bunch of fuel in. We got 3 people in here. So maybe we'll need a little more than 22 inches when we go to take off. But like I said, our hover power is our takeoff power, is our climb power. All right, so let's kind of step a little bit more to the left here. So keeping your eyes focused way out on the horizon where they are. We'll just kind of gently step to the left, just a little bit of left cyclic at a time. And we don't want to go backwards. We also don't want to come any further to the right just because we have all those lights and stuff out there. So keeping your eyes focused out on the horizon, nice and relaxed. There we go. And I want to have the cyclic post here be right over the center line, or as close to it as we can, so just a little further.
As always, my difficulty is moving it left.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of likes to drift to the right because that tail rotor's pushing us that way.
Yeah.
All right.
Ah, fuck.
All right. Eyes are outside, out on the horizon.
All right. Woo.
Just going to raise us up a little higher. There we go. All right, so this guy's going to be coming off the runway here any second, so maybe we'll just go ahead and get on the go here. So lights are out, gauges are green, we've got fuel.
All right.
Watsonville traffic helicopter 18 Kilo is departing grass parallel 20 for left traffic, Watsonville. All right, so let's get right out to the middle here of the grass.
Pedal.
And we can come a little bit lower down. A little bit less power. And we're going to face straight down, parallel the runway. All right, so let's see. Right where our collective is right now, we're not climbing, we're not descending, we're pretty stationary here as far as altitude goes. So I don't want to move our collective almost 25 inches or so. That should be just fine. So now with our eyes outside, we're going to slowly start just tiny little bits forward at a time.
Okay.
If we end up descending, then we just need to come a little aft cyclic. A little bit more forward. Here comes ETL. Yeah.
More, huh?
Yeah, just because we have some birds here, we're going to come up a little bit higher.
Trim.
But now here's 45, so now if we just don't move the collective, or the cyclic, I'll just kind of show you here. Eventually it'll start climbing up all on its own. All right, going back off the controls, it's all you.
Okay, on the controls.
Got 'em. All right, so we're just going to do a regular left traffic pattern. Have you been doing the radios and stuff yet?
A little bit.
Okay. Do you want to do them today, or do you just want to kind of focus
maybe
on
in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so there's left crosswind here.
Yeah, we'll wait till we get about 300 AGL, so about 500 feet on the altimeter.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
clear left, center right. Watsonville traffic helicopter 18 Kilo, left crosswind 20 Watsonville. Okay, airspeed looks good. We're going to keep on climbing up to 700 for our downwind.
So start the downwind about 700?
Yeah. And we can go ahead and start kind of sharpen up this turn a little bit and get us there.
Okay.
And now you'll notice we're still climbing a little bit, so we can just bring that collective down to maybe 19, 20 inches. We're going to go for 70 knots and 700 feet. Watsonville's kind of nice. 7 and 7 on the downwind. That's my rule of thumb.
Climbing a little bit, but
Yeah, so our airspeed looks pretty good. So we can just keep on lowering that collective until we stop climbing. Right about there, let's try that.
little.
Watchable traffic, helicopter 18 kilos, left downwind 20 Watsonville. All right, so we're going to do just a normal approach down to the intersection we took off from, a specialized. I always call it specialized intersection.
Or should I start descending?
Yeah, you can just bring us back down to 700.
Okay.
We're going to kind of take our time here. So for a normal approach, we're looking for about that 10-degree angle. And like I said, I've done the math and figured out where we need to be to make it a normal approach when we enter at 300 feet AGL. So I'll let you know where that is. All right, there's 70 knots, 700, and we have a little bit of descent, so we can just bring that collective up maybe an inch or two.
Okay.
Just enough to stop descending.
I see, so we're going right to the approach?
Yeah, we're going to just kind of keep on going straight here for a little. We'll set up on a nice long final, at least for the first one here. So we have plenty of time to get ready. Birds all over the place. It's going to be a good day.
Right.
All right, so usually we want to go till we're about a 45-degree angle from the spot we want to land at.
Okay.
And this looks like just about there, so now we can start descending and decelerating. So we'll bring our collective down even further.
Right, so we got birds down below.
And then we'll start turning inbound and watch our speed. We don't want to accelerate here. We want to come down back to about 60. Watsonville traffic, helicopter 18 kilo, left base 20 Watsonville. And we're going for 500 on the altimeter, which is about 300 feet AGL, and 60 knots. So right about here, we can probably start bringing our power back up just enough to keep us 60 knots and level right here. As we're on base, we're looking out to the right. There's no one coming in on final, not making any calls. There's no one coming in on short final or any weird business over there. We're going to land at the taxiway. So we're going to make sure that's clear as well.
Just 500, so...
Yeah, and then whenever you need to make that turn, you go ahead and turn. Watsonville traffic, helicopter 18 kilos, final taxiway, parallel 20 Watsonville. All right, altitude looks good. Maybe just a little more collective so that we don't start descending quite yet. For this first one, I'll kind of come on the controls just a little bit to help start the approach here and
Okay.
get us established. So I'm just going to bring us back a little bit because we're kind of low.
Climbing.
Yeah, I'm going to bring us back up a little bit higher here. All right, lights are out, gauges are green. We've got plenty of fuel. All right, about 300 feet AGL. We're going to start right about here. So right where the specialized intersection is on the windscreen right now, that's about our 10-degree angle.
Okay.
So I want you to kind of lock that spot in mentally.
Which one?
The delta right there.
Oh, I see.
The four-way.
Okay. Where that triangle is, that second triangle?
Yeah, like a diamond.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to come off now, and you have all the controls, and just kind of keep us a nice brisk walking pace. Now we're letting that spot come just like it is. Now we're going to start getting some vibrations, so we can come in a little bit hot here. There. So we'll start raising that collective. Here's our ETL, so start raising collective. Keep on pulling more. A little bit of left pedal as we come in. And we kind of overshot. We were going for that one right back there.
See. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll do another one here in just a second, but I want to kind of stabilize this. Eyes are outside. And I want to come to hover right over that triangle intersection right there.
Okay.
Then we're going to do a pickup and a set down there, and then we'll give it another go.
All right, over there.
Remember, it's very small little movements. Eyes are out on the horizon. And we'll just kind of step a little bit to the left. So make sure we're clear to the left. Side step over. There we go, perfect. All right, now we're just going to do a set down.
Okay.
So we're going to nice and slowly start a little downward trend with some down collective.
All right.
There, that feels pretty good. Maybe a little bit lower now. As we get closer and closer to the ground, we get more and more ground effect, so we have to keep on lowering collective, otherwise we'll just kind of stagnate. Nice and slowly, just little collective inputs. The less we move the collective, well, the less we move all the controls, the happier the aircraft is. I want to stabilize here. I'm just going to stabilize just a little bit on cyclic.
Sure.
So let's get some left pedal in. There we go. All right. Now we'll just keep flying the aircraft into the ground.
Pleasantville traffic, red RV. 5
There we
miles
go.
west.
A little bit of right pedal.
Land runway 9er.
There we go.
Pleasantville.
All right.
All right. So remember, as we're lowering collective, we're going to need a little bit of right pedal usually,
Right.
because we're going to kind of start yawing to the left otherwise, because we're reducing some of the torque the main rotor is producing.
Yeah.
So if we don't put in any pedal, we're going to start swinging around to the left because it's
Right.
pushing with the same amount of force.
Lift left, down right.
Yes. Then you go fly an A-star, and that's backwards. But we're not going to worry about
One
that
thing
today.
at a time.
Yeah. All right, so lights are out, gauges are all in the green. We've got fuel, RPM's right at the top of the green arc. We're good. So we're clear left, center,
You're
and
right. All right.
So now we'll just do the opposite. We're going to go ahead and do a pickup. So I'll usually start with about that much left pedal. We have, maybe I usually kind of start right around there.
Okay.
And then a little bit back into the left cyclic, just because I know that's where this aircraft likes to sit.
Yeah.
So we can go ahead and eyes are inside.
Cool. All right. So,
And slowly raising collective, watching the manifold pressure and tachometer.
all right. He's flying low here.
What's that?
He's flying low here. Right. Getting a little bit of wiggle.
Watsonville traffic, 2 miles on initial.
And once we're past about 17, 18 inches, we want to be focused outside. That's where all the action's going to be happening.
All right.
Once we get light on the skid, there's a tiny bit of movement there, but all right. So now we're going to freeze that collective. So what's happening? We're kind of moving forward, so let's come a little bit aft.
Okay.
There, maybe even a little bit more. See, we're still kind of drifting forwards.
Okay.
And don't want to raise that collective just yet. We want to get everything nice and stable. See, we're still moving forward, so just keep on coming aft until that stops.
Okay.
There we go. All right, and we didn't really have any yaw, so keep coming aft, and then you got to kind of hold that aft cyclic in.
Yeah.
That's kind of your new center position when we're lifting up like this. There we go. And that's kind of the ideal pickup, is you just go straight vertically. Eventually you get to the point where you know kind of what to anticipate,
Yeah.
and then from there you just kind of make small little inputs and corrections to
Yeah.
correct any drift or anything like that. All right, so let's just do a nice gentle left 360 pedal turn.
Okay.
So let's come up higher here. I don't want to put our tail into these lights. I'm just going to bring us back to the center.
Okay.
All right, give us plenty of room there. All right, UVL controls again.
Okay.
And eyes are outside, way on the horizon throughout the whole pedal turn.
Okay.
I'm going to hang over this spot here. See, now that we're in the middle, we know that our tail is A, higher, and B, less likely to run into those lights because we gave ourselves a little more space.
Yeah. Okay. Looks clear.
Okay. Don't see anyone on final. Someone said he was on final.
Yeah.
All right. So eyes are outside. Oh, there he is. He's landing 9. Okay, we can take off.
Okay.
So lights out, gauge is green, feels good.
All right.
Collective is locked right where it's at because we are about 2 feet-ish, but that's all right for
All right,
me.
here we go. So I'm gonna walk it forward.
And here, I'm gonna kind of just come on a little bit. You're still gonna be on all the controls. I'm gonna
Okay.
bring us to a stop. I just kind of want to demonstrate it's really little tiny movements.
Yeah. Okay.
Watsonville traffic, helicopter 1 EQ departing taxiway parallel 20 left traffic, Watsonville. All right, so just barely nosing forward, just enough to kind of start a walk,
Yeah.
keeping our pedals in check. Then as we start kind of accelerating, we'll need a little bit more. Here comes ETL any second. And there you feel we're pushing, not aggressively, but a lot through it.
Yeah.
Then we get some right pedal. Here comes 45 knots, and now I just stop pushing forward. The nose naturally comes up all by itself.
Yeah.
And now we're just cruising for 60 knots. All right, I'm coming off controls. You got them all.
All right. Controls.
You got them. All right, and we want to keep ourselves lined up here with the taxiway, so we'll just kind of pick like a reference point out on the horizon to keep us lined up. Right now, we're kind of drifting a little bit to the right, which on a busy day, on a day like today where there's nothing going on, it's not really a big issue, but
Yeah.
you get out here on a busy day and people are taking off kind of right next to us or right behind us or right in front of us on the runway,
Yeah.
and that gets a little sketchy.
Same thing. Left.
Yeah, we're just going to do left traffic here for a little while.
Okay.
Watsonville traffic, helicopter 1 kilo, left crosswind 20 Watsonville.
Okay.
And we could probably just keep that turn coming all the way around to our downwind. I like to keep it pretty tight. Watsonville traffic, helicopter 18 kilo, left downwind 20 Watsonville. I usually go for right between the hospital right there and the school over there.
Okay.
That'll put you just a little bit outside of the numbers 27 over there.
All right.
All right, so what are we looking for numbers-wise here on our downwind?
Okay, so I think we're a little bit slow, right? We're looking for 60 and 800, 900, so we have the altitude.
Yeah, we want to be about 7 and 7, so 70 knots and 700 feet.
Okay.
And that only really works because Watsonville is 200 feet above sea level. The ideal helicopter pattern altitude is 500 feet above the airport.
Okay.
So here we just round up to 200 feet at field elevation.
Uh-huh.
So we add 500, that gets you 7. So that's my 7 and 7, that's kind of where that comes from.
Okay.
And let's get a little bit more right pedal in there. You can use this to check your trim in here as well.
Oh, wow.
Step on the ball. If you're using the strings, you step in the hole.
Okay. Going for
That
test
RV you
action.
get to.
Aft here.
All right, we can start coming down a little bit here. We're still a little bit high.
Yes.
Okay, whenever you're ready to turn base.
All right.
Watsonville traffic, helicopter 18 kilos, left base 20 Watsonville.
All right.
And we're going to do another normal approach. Watsonville traffic, helicopter 18 kilos, final taxiway, parallel 20 Watsonville.
We got 6, 15, just about 500 feet. Okay.
Yeah, so there's our altitude. If we bring that cyclic aft just a little bit, I bet that'll fix our speed and that'll also kind of slow our descent down.
Okay.
All right, and whenever you're ready, go ahead and start the approach whenever we hit that angle.
I'm going for that first diamond there, right?
Yep.
All right.
And we're looking for about a brisk walking pace out of our peripherals. So maybe we'll come a little down collective and just a little aft cyclic. Feels like we're coming in a little hot here.
Yeah. Oh, overshoot it.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll just make it a normal approach down to wherever 10 degrees takes us.
Okay.
So we're still coming a little hot, so come more aft cyclic. Because remember, our cyclic controls our speed.
Yeah.
There's our vibrations. So now raising and forward and left. More collective. There we go.
Ooh, all right. Let's fix it up a little.
Yeah, so let's kind of get right back over the center line there. Finding our tail on all these lights. Now let's get right over the center line here again. We'll do another set down and pick up.
All right.
Maybe we'll go do a little bit of climbs and descents and stuff out over the rail yard. Just kind of practice some straight and level flying.
All right.
All right.
Let's forward a little. Feel more comfortable at that left.
Yeah. All right, so whenever you're ready, we'll just start a little bit of downward descent with the collective and just kind of let the aircraft settle. We don't want to be moving backwards when we do this though. So we're always keeping our eyes on the horizon when we're hovering. As soon as you start looking inside, we're going to start getting all wonky.
Okay, let me just bring it to the table. Yeah, that's about good. Breathe it down. Oh, on.
Don't look inside, look outside.
Okay. You guys want to feel stable for a sec? All right.
There we go.
All right.
There we go, all the way down. Before we pick up, basically before we really do anything, lights are out, those guys too. Gauges are all in the green. We've got plenty of fuel. Those are the things we always want to check, because if something's off here, or maybe if we're pulling like 17 or 18 inches, anything more than like 15 inches just sitting on the ground idling,
Yeah.
you know, we might not have both of our magnetos on or something like that.
Yeah.
You always kind of want to be cognizant of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, where's the car, Pete?
There is none.
Oh, there isn't. Okay.
It's a fuel-injected engine, so we don't have to worry about carb heat.
Crazy. Okay.
All right. So lights are out, gauges are green. We've got fuel. We can go ahead and start our pickup.
All right. So we're inside until 17, you said?
Yeah, I usually watch the manifold and the tack until about 17 inches. I like to watch the tack because if you've accidentally switched the governor off, when you raise collective, that RPM will start coming up and you'll notice it right away.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's 17, so eyes outside. So when we do this, I just want you to get light on the skids and don't start raising collective after that until I tell you to go ahead and start raising. I just want to kind of get nice and stable on the ground.
Starting to feel it there.
Yeah, a little bit of light. Not much movement though.
Right about there.
Okay. So now I'm kind of feeling almost a little bit of forward, like you kind of felt the tail tipping up a little bit. So let's come just a hair aft cyclic and hold that.
Okay.
Maybe right around there. Okay, that feels pretty stable. How are we feeling on pedals? Did you feel any like yaw movements at all?
No.
Maybe a little bit of left.
Yeah, right about there. That seems.
Okay. So now we'll go ahead and raise collective a little bit more. There we go. And that's kind of the process all the way up. So we're still, there you go.
Left.
All right, look at that. We didn't even move forward on that one. Okay, let's get back over the center line.
All right.
Does it just take constant left pressure on the cyclic to keep over the center line, or what's the...
It depends on the CG.
Oh, I'm in the right seat.
Yeah, if you were over on this side, it would be less. If I wasn't in here, it would be more. I think. I don't know. It depends on like the CG and the wind, and we do have a little bit of crosswind coming from the left as well. So, but usually there is just kind of a constant left cyclic, just because the tail rotor's back there pushing us that way.
Right, sure.
All right, lights are out, gauges are green. Feels good. Whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and take off. We'll do a left crosswind departure.
All right.
Watsonville traffic, helicopter 1EQ departing taxiway parallel 20 left crosswind departure Watsonville.
All right.
Just a very nice, gentle little inputs. I want to keep about this skid height right here. There's ETL, so we're pushing forward through it. Keep on accelerating, forward, forward, forward. There we go. Keep on pushing forward. We don't want to climb up quite yet. There's 45, and now we're just going to kind of freeze the cyclic. There's our climb, and our acceleration is 60. All right.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to get to our crosswind altitude, and we're just going to turn crosswind and head out that way.
Watsonville traffic, Cirrus 1, Sierra Romeo, crossing runway 927 Watsonville.
Bunch of birds straight ahead.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. We can just turn a little bit early so we don't get too close to them.
All right.
Watsonville traffic, helicopter 18 kilo, left crosswind departure 20, heading towards the rail yard, climbing 3,000 feet, Watsonville. So we're going to go to 1,000 right now, and then I'll have us climb a little bit higher. Right here is a good heading. And yeah, we'll keep 60 knots, and we'll just kind of keep climbing. 22 inches of manifold pressure is perfect. 22 is kind of the magic number in these things. Sea level up to like 3,000 or 4,000 feet, 22 inches will keep you out of trouble.
Oh, you fly down here much?
I've flown to Salinas a couple times. Sometimes I fly down to sort of the Monterey coast there a little, just to look around. Mostly the cliffs between here and Half Moon Bay.
Loud and clear on the field at Watsonville.
So when we level off here, I want to level off at 70 knots and 1,000 feet.
All right.
So whatever you got to do, collective cyclic pedals to make that all happen.
Yeah. All right.
All right, looks pretty good. So now I'm going to want to keep 70 knots, but we're going to want to climb up a little bit. I want to climb to 2,000 feet. So to do that, we're we're going to have to raise collective, and when we do that, if we don't do anything else, we're going to get a nose up, a roll to the right, and a yaw to the right. So we have to make all of our corrections as we're raising collective. So we can go ahead and raise to like 22 inches or so.
Okay. What elevation do you want?
2,000.
1,000? Okay. Climbing.
All right, there's our 22 inches, 70 knots, and a little bit of climb.
All right.
And we're going to level off at 2,000 feet again, and then we'll make another climb up to 3,000 after a minute.
All right.
And while we're climbing, let's kind of head out towards the quarry over there.
Over Salinas, I see a TFR for air show. Do you know what that's about?
Yeah, that's the Salinas Air Show. I guess they got the Blue Angels or something down there right now.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So we're not going to go down there. It's like service to 16,000 or something like that.
That's right.
And let's keep our airspeed right at 70. And we can do that by kind of finding like whatever attitude we're at when we see 70 knots consistently. Take the horizon out and compare it to either like the compass or the trim strings or something in the cabin that we can use as a reference point.
Good, Red.
There we go. Untitled Traffic Helicopter 18 kilos, approximately 3 miles to the southeast over the rail yard, maneuvering 3,000 feet below Watsonville.
So when you make the call, you only say 1-8, you don't say 4-2?
Now, when you make your first call to like a control tower or control agency, you only give your full call sign, and then after that, whatever they call you. But for an uncontrolled airport, you can just do your type and then the last 3.
Okay.
So we want 2,000 so we can lower that collective back down. And we'll just descend back down to 2,000.
All right.
Keeping our 70 knots.
All right.
For me as a new pilot, uncontrolled airports can be kind of a handful with everything going on in the radio, so the fewer the numbers, the better. Sometimes I just say, you know, green high wing or something.
Yeah, on a really, really busy day, that can be, it can get almost kind of more difficult than like a busy control tower.
Absolutely.
Because at the control tower, they're telling you what to do. Here, at a place like this, it's like every man for himself. You got to kind of figure out, okay, when can I get in there and when can I not get in there?
Right.
A little weird wispy layer right here. It's interesting.
All right. So
All right. So once we level off here, we've done a lot of left turns. I want to do some right turns.
all right.
So I want to turn back to the right, about 180 degrees, back to a heading of 270 west. So whenever you're ready.
Here. Climbing.
You'll notice as we get into kind of steeper than like 15 degrees or so, we'll either start descending or we'll start decelerating.
Yeah.
That's because we're using a lot of lift that the rotor produces to go horizontally as opposed to vertically. So now we can either trade off some of our forward speed to keep us up, or we can raise collective a little bit to keep us up.
Okay. About 2.7.
Yeah, right about there. And it looks like probably won't get much higher for the clouds here. So I want to let's keep 70 knots again, and I want to descend down to 1,500 at 70 knots.
Okay.
Watsonville Traffic Helicopter 18 kilos, 3 miles to the southeast over the rail yard, 3,000 feet below maneuvering Watsonville.
What's the elevation you want?
1,500.
Okay. I'll keep the collective, kind of give it more.
Yeah, you can give it a little, maybe like 15 inches or so. And the 44, when you start getting too much lower than 15, that's when the needles are a little more likely to split, which isn't necessarily the end of the world, but you know, you only have from 102 to 108% of green arc on the rotor side. So if that needle comes up to 108 and hits that red line, we've oversped, and that's not happy times. Yeah, and you can start raising the collective about 50 to 100 feet before we get to our target altitude. Just kind of smooth out the transition back to straight and level. All right, I want to make another right turn back kind of towards the foothills there.
All right. Here.
And notice we've lost about 20 knots, but we haven't lost any altitude. And that's kind of the rolling into a turn like that will make a difference. We might be lowering collective a little bit here too. Right about this heading should be good. So now we'll level out, get back up to 70, and then we'll do a little bit of airspeed change.
All right.
And we're going to find that 70 knot attitude.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so now maintaining 1,500 feet and more or less this heading, let's accelerate to 90 knots. So what control inputs do we need for that?
Likely collective, right?
Yeah, and a little bit of left pedal too. So we're going to raise collective, just raise it an inch or two maybe and kind of see what it is. This is a new aircraft, so we got to figure out what power settings and what attitudes give us what airspeeds in climb and descent. And we're spending about 80% of our time looking outside, only 20% inside. Now, outside is where the danger is. That's where the ground is. That's where airplanes are. That's where birds are. We just kind of want to come in here to check and check our progress every so often.
Okay, there we go. 90.
All right. And we lost a little bit of airspeed, got a little bit of climb, so we'll just kind of gently forward cycling and get that back.
About 100.
So airspeed still looks pretty good, but we're still kind of climbing, so maybe just a little down collective, just a touch. Get back down to our 1,500 feet.
Right about there.
And we're about a little too high, so if we just come a little, because see, we have a little low airspeed and a little high altitude, so just a little forward cycle will fix both of those by increasing airspeed and a little bit of a descent. And then once we reach the altitude we want, we can fix it with a little bit of up collective. It's all kind of energy management when you're flying these things.
Yeah. Go.
There we go. So now we've got our 90 knots on our altitude, and it looks like we're leveling off here. Okay, so now I want to turn either direction, left or right. We'll kind of head a little bit towards the coast.
Okay, other direction.
Yeah, your choice.
Right turn. Clear.
And I want to keep 1,500 feet in this.
Okay. Towers don't pull up. All right, straight for the coast?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So let's get back to our 90 knots real quick, and then we'll descend a little. And lights are out, gauges are green, everybody's happy, we've got fuel. All right, so there's our 90 knots, 1,500 feet. So let's descend down to 1,000.
Okay.
And keep 90 knots as we do it. So whatever you got to do, whatever inputs.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna drop the collective a bit. Flying pretty hot. So
Remember, 80% outside, 20% inside. If you make your attitude changes while you're looking outside, it'll be a lot easier to start recognizing, like, okay, this feels about like a 90 knot attitude or a 70 knot attitude. And then the collective, when you glance in, just kind of check your manifold pressure. And Paul has a little saying, power setting, attitude, what's next?
Yeah.
So power setting being the collective, attitude being cyclic is where, where's our reference point versus the horizon.
Yeah.
And then what's next is, do I need to make a radio call? Do I need to listen to the weather? Do I need to turn? Watsonville traffic, helicopter 18 kilos, 4 miles to the southeast, 3,000 feet below maneuvering, Watsonville.
$1,100. Alright. Alright.
And remember, we're looking outside as we're making our changes here and just kind of glancing in to see our manifold pressure. That'll help because I think you can kind of see if we lock all the other controls and I just raise collective. See our nose coming up already?
Yeah.
We didn't do anything else and that happened. So
yeah.
I'll bring collective back down. You have all the controls again?
Yep.
I just like to kind of do that to demonstrate, that's why we like to look outside more than we look inside is.
Airport tour bus is westbound on taxiway Charlie.
Airport tour bus, huh? Interesting. That's why we like to look outside is because that's where we can sense when things change before they change in here.
Yeah.
All right, let's start heading kind of back towards the airport, and we'll just keep 1,000 feet for now, and we'll keep our 90 knots. And this is about a 3-mile left 45. And when you're flying here and you hear people say they're at the river and the bridge,
Yeah.
all right there, that's what they're talking about. This is the Pajaro River, and that's that's Highway 1. So when you see here river in the bridge or river in the freeway, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah. Alright.
Watsonville traffic, helicopter 18 kilos, 3-mile left 45, river in the bridge, 20, 1,000 feet, Watsonville. All right, lights are out, gauges are green, we've got plenty of fuel, everybody's happy. So we're gonna keep flying this heading until we get to about the distance we were at for our downwind. And when we do that, we can descend, actually we can probably start descending now down to 700 feet or so.
Right.
Once we get in the downwind, we're gonna decelerate to 70 knots. So we're gonna keep 90 for now, and then 70 will come shortly. We'll go for our 7 and 7 again. And we're gonna do a steep approach this time.
Alright.
And there's really not a whole lot different except where you enter the approach and how fast and steep it is. All the other control inputs should be pretty similar. Cyclic is still gonna control your rate of closure. Collective is still gonna control your angle of descent, and pedals are still gonna be your heading, or your yaw trim.
So 700, 190. Alright.
Yeah, and once we get just on the other side of the school, we can turn our downwind there.
Where's the school?
Big fields right there.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
They just like us to not fly directly over it if it can be avoided.
Gotcha. So I'll just go around it then.
Yeah. Watsonville traffic, helicopter 18 kilo, left downwind 20, Watsonville. It is a tour bus on the airport. Huh.
Interesting.
Watsonville traffic, airport tour bus is southbound on taxiway Alpha, Watsonville.
All right, so maybe we'll actually land on the runway this time.
Alright.
They're not on the way. So we're right abeam our spot right now, that intersection right there. So just kind of lock that in your mind. So when we pull around, you have a good idea where it's at.
Okay. So the intersection is where we'll start our steep descent?
That's where we want to land, is either at that intersection or directly next to it on the runway, depending on where that bus is.
Okay. So going into base, what should my altitude be?
We want to be right around 700, and you can start descending a little bit before we get to the base turn.
Okay, I'm at 600 now.
Yeah, so we can just kind of start descending here and make our turn and bring it back to 60 knots.
Okay.
Watsonville traffic helicopter 18 kilo, left base 20 Watsonville. Yeah, it looks like they're just kind of hanging out on the taxiway, so we'll go for the actual runway this time.
Okay.
And we want to keep 60 knots until we get to our approach angle. So we'll go a little forward. That'll also start us descending. We don't want to go any lower than this, so we'll bring that collective up. Yeah, we're going to go to the actual runway this time. Watsonville traffic helicopter 18 kilos on final 20 Watsonville.
The target's the 20, is that what you're saying?
The same intersection where we're landing, we're going to land just right next to it, only on the runway.
Okay.
So we're a little bit low here, a little bit fast, so I'm just going to bring a little aft cycle like that. Should fix both of those. Let us climb back up and lose some airspeed. Bring collective up too, so we climb. All right, so our normal approach should be right about here. So our steep approach will be right about here, and I'm just going to kind of help us out with the beginning of the descent.
Yeah.
Now you notice a little bit slower here.
Yeah.
Kind of a slow walking pace out of our peripherals, and I'm controlling that with cyclic. Angle looks pretty solid, so we're not moving a whole lot of collective. As we get closer, we are going to let it come a little lower. So here are the ETL vibrations, so now I'm going to raise. It feels kind of counterintuitive because we want to keep descending, but we have to raise and forward. As we're doing that, we got to keep our pedals awake.
Yeah.
If we let our pedals get ahead of us, kind of like that,
Yeah.
all of a sudden we need a whole bunch of pedal and it's not quite there. All right, and there we are.
Watsonville traffic, airport tour bus is exiting taxiway alpha at specialized ramp, Watsonville.
All right, you've got all the controls. Let's just walk, hover taxi straight over the grass back to the taxiway so we're getting off the runway. I don't like hanging out here. People don't
Just
tend
right
to
over the
see
grass?
us. Yeah.
What the hell is that bus doing?
And we'll just go straight from here, kind of perpendicular to the runway, and then get straight to the taxiway. Perfect.
Funny they're chartering the.
A little bit to the left. I just don't want to. We try not to directly overfly little obstacles and stuff on the ground like that.
Okay. All right.
All right, so we'll get right over the taxiway center line here again. Then we'll head that way and do another set down and pick up. Actually, we'll see what they're doing. If they're going to be coming out of the taxiway, we might have to move.
Bus has priority, huh?
Well, I mean, technically, no. Technically, we have the right of way, but it's easier for us to get out of the way than it is for them.
Looks like they're turning in.
Yeah, so we can go ahead and head down to that intersection and do our set down and pick up there.
Altimeter 3022. Remarks. Density altitude -200. Watsonville Municipal Airport, Watsonville, California. Automated weather observation 1901 Zulu. Wind 100 at 04. Visibility 10. Sky condition overcast 2900.
All right. So yeah, we'll get over there and do our set down and pick up. And then we'll set up for, I'll just kind of demonstrate an auto rotation for you out of runway 9. Then we'll do some hovering practice, some maneuvers.
Right in the middle there and see if I can do it.
Yeah. Remember, eyes are outside on the horizon. Just kind of using your peripheral vision to check all this stuff down here, down below us, to make sure that we're where we want to be. Okay, so eyes are out on the horizon, nice and stable.
All right, correct this.
And if we can keep the rotor disc level up above our heads, everything else is kind of inconsequential. You know, we can be drifting in whatever direction, and if that disc is level, we're not going to be accelerating. And when you start accelerating is when it gets more difficult to correct for everything. So we'll fix that drift. There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we take off, lights are out, gauges are green, we've got plenty of fuel. That'll stop shaking if we bring it a little bit.
There's a city bus on near the taxiway. Is there a tour going on?
Just off course.
Yeah, they said they were making tours. Okay.
All right, good to go?
Yep.
All right. Green, green. Like here. Right, so bring it up to...
Yes, there's a tour going on. This is airport Unicom.
There's bring it outside. So we're doing the same thing, just kind of getting light on the skids and...
Yep. And I'll let you know when to raise the collective after we get light and stabilized. I just kind of want to practice getting light and holding the collective where it is while we neutralize all the other movement. There, so let's hold that right there. So see, we got a little bit of forward movement here.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's keep on coming aft, maybe a little bit more. See, we're kind of bouncing back and forth, and if I do that, you could probably feel a little bit of movement maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep on coming aft until we're nice and comfortably on the back end of the skids. Maybe right there. All right, now we can go ahead and start raising collective again. Now hold it right there, and left cyclic. And at that point, usually if you put in just the left cyclic, that'll be enough to kind of get you up off the ground.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so let's get back to the center line here. We'll do a pedal turn and then we'll take off. And we're going to do right traffic and we're going to set up on runway 9. All right, so tail clear to the right. We'll do our left pedal turn.
That guy right there checking.
Yeah. He probably wants to take his cover off his plane, but we'll be out here in a minute.
4 people, don't see traffic coming.
Yep, looks pretty empty.
Alright.
Alright. I'm just going to keep this from going too far that way here.
Alright.
Watsonville traffic, helicopter 1 EQ, departing taxiway parallel 20 right traffic, Watsonville. Okay, you've got all controls. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah. Walk forward.
There's fire out there or something.
Yeah, I can smell it. 50. Little rat down.
Yeah, during the summertime, this whole, like you fly over here and the whole ground just starts moving. There's so many of them.
Yeah. Alright, man. We're drifting. It's a dumpster fire, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's dust? 2 plumes of something.
Alright, so you want me to go right crosswind?
Yeah. Watsonville traffic, helicopter 18 kilo right, crosswind 20, going to be setting up for runway 9, Watsonville.
You want me to do right pattern?
Yeah. So we'll just kind of continue out this direction actually, just a little bit. Then we'll set up, that's runway 9er right there.
Okay.
We're kind of on the downwind for it right now. So we're going to get set up to that. We'll come up to like 1,100 feet, 11 or 1,200 feet. We'll see if I can hit a spot for us. So the autorotation is basically a really fast descent. So I'm going to lower the collective all the way down. It'll be almost full right pedal and just enough aft cyclic to keep our level attitude. Then I'm going to roll the throttle off, and you can actually, you'll watch the engine come down and idle, and the rotor needle will stay right where it is, if I do everything right. And then I'll probably check the collective up a little bit, because if I don't, then the rotor RPM will start to build, and it'll get too high, and we don't want that. So then I'll be looking for a rotor RPM in the green, airspeed around 60 to 70 knots, no lower than 60, and be looking out at our spot. So we can go ahead and start turning back towards the airport now. Watsonville traffic, helicopter 18 kilos, 1,200 feet right base, runway 9er, holding short 20, Watsonville.
Line it up?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll take controls.
Alright, you got the controls?
I go. So I'm just going to kind of do this. Well, you can kind of follow along until we get going here.
All right.
So we like to enter our autos usually right around 70 knots or so. We only get about a 4, well, on a good day we get about a 4-to-1 glide ratio. We're going to be pretty close. Okay, lights are out, gauges are green, fuel's good. We have plenty of space to land if we actually need to do an auto rotation. Engine dies for whatever reason. Okay, and we're going to enter. It's going to be a really fast descent in 3, 2, 1. Throttle's coming off. And now I'm just watching RPM, airspeed, and our spot.
Where's your spot?
I'm going for the number 9, but
Okay.
might not hit it. Go a little bit faster. All right, we're going to be pretty close. Yeah, we're going to overshoot. That's all right. A little bit of down collective gets rid of that. Get about 40 feet AGL. We're going to start a little bit of cyclic flare. Let the needles join, level, and raise collective. Left pedal, and that's our power recovery.
All right.
So it always feels more dramatic in the 22, just because everything's smaller. You have all the controls.
Controls.
Got them all. Like I said, it always feels more dramatic in the 22 because it's smaller, and speed feels like a much more significant thing than it actually is. So we can go ahead and step out to the taxiway up to our right side, just so we're off the runway.
All right. Always forget the right.
Yeah. As soon as that right pedal, the right turn starts moving faster than you want it to, you want to start adding in that left pedal to keep it under control. Because in this, if you stomp on the left pedal, you get a little RPM droop and your manifold pressure comes up.
Yeah.
But if you do that in a turbine machine, then you get a torque spike, and that's not good. You know, those things produce so much power. If you use more, if you create more, or try to use more than it's rated for, bad things can tend to happen.
All right. So which way do I want to turn it?
We'll get rid of the thing, and we'll do, we'll practice a left 360 first,
Okay.
and then we'll do a right 360. So we can just get right over the middle. And I like over here because there's no lights on the taxiway or anything to run into, so we can be a little more free.
All right. I'm for
So
that.
just a nice, slow, controlled left 360 pedal turn. And we're going to have to kind of keep our cyclic pushed into the wind as we rotate here. Otherwise, we're going to keep on kind of drifting around. Just nice and slow like that. That's a good speed. And now it's not very windy right now, but as we come to the tailwind, to the quartering tailwind, it's going to be a little bit less left pedal because all of a sudden the wind is pushing with us instead of against us on that tail back there. Which might not make a whole lot of sense as we're doing it right here, but if I draw it out on the ground, it'll make a lot more sense. All right, so we'll get back over our center line and we'll do one to the right. And I want to do about that same speed. That was a good speed.
There.
Eyes outside, way on the horizon. Just get a nice and stable hover here.
All right.
And let's fix that backwards movement.
Press on it a little bit. All right.
Nice and relaxed. All right, tail's clear left. Just do a nice slow right pedal turn. That speed is perfect. Don't let it go any faster than that. Beautiful.
All right.
Very nice. Okay, let's see. Now I want to do kind of circles around a point, or like orbits around a point, sort of. So let's go over to those structure things right over there, the little things sticking up out of the ground.
I gotcha.
And we're going to be about a 3 to 5 foot hover, and this is we can kind of cheat in here. This is a radar altimeter, so that tells us how far we actually are above the ground.
Oh, nice.
So you can kind of glance down there every once in a while just to start getting like a good sight picture
Yeah.
of what 3 foot or 5 foot or 10 foot looks like. And it might not be super accurate over the grass here, so. All right, so we'll get just a hair closer, right about there. So let's hold this distance here.
Steady that a little.
Get nice and stable. So what I want to do is we're going to make full 360 turns around this thing, but I want to keep our nose facing right in between those two lights the whole time.
Cool.
So we're clear to the right,
All
clear to the
right.
left, no one's coming in on final.
Let me stabilize a little bit. Paul, you do this in an airplane?
A little faster and not quite as tight, but yes.
All right. Woo!
Yeah, just take your time, there's no rush.
I always got to remember just to breathe and kind of loosen up and let it kind of come to it.
Yeah, now let's step a little bit further away here. It's all right if we kind of go out onto the runway a little bit. There's no one out here, and keeping our eyes out as we turn. I'm a little bit further away. I want to be maybe 10 yards or so. Right about there is good.
Good. Feels a little bit more controlled than might otherwise indicate.
We'll do one more this direction, then we'll switch around and do it the other way.
Okay. Try to pause for a second here and get my bearing. Got a horizon.
Take your time.
I don't know if I'd call this decent, but hey, I'm going around.
Yeah.
Looks like good practice.
Yeah. These are some of the kind of fun hovering stuff that really helps you build control and confidence.
Right.
Come up just a little bit higher. All right, so let's go the other direction.
All right, so pull. I'm gonna go around to the backside and stabilize, and then go the other way. All right. Maybe go to stable here. All right. I feel like I'm going in circles. All right. Bring it over here. Fine, stable. Try the other way. Be weird.
And now this is going to be the right pedal turn, so just be extra careful on those pedals so we don't let it get too far out of whack. And let's not get any closer than this, so we're going to keep about this radius.
Stable. Yeah, left is always super hard for me.
Watsonville traffic, Cessna 396.
Save this one for last.
Departing runway 20.
Circle. back a little. Want to see your circle after this just to see how a pro does it?
Oh yeah, all right. All right, we'll do one more. We'll come around to the spot, and then I think they might have scheduled a tour at 12:30, so we'll probably have to head back. Super exciting backseat flying, huh?
Well, it's interesting. It's fun to sit in on a lesson for helicopters. It's
A little different.
fascinating to me, yeah.
Fly fixed wing as well, Brian?
No, I have like an hour and a half in an airplane, but that's about it. Actually, most of it is like IFR.
Oh, all right. I'm getting tired.
All right, my controls.
Got the controls?
I got them.
All right.
Okay, so I'll just kind of show you how I do these. So all just kind of small little corrections.
Paul's what I meant to do.
Oh, this is what you were trying to do.
Yeah. And this is where we get a lot of left pedal because we're fighting the crosswind.
Yeah.
And we need to kind of take it right back out. Otherwise the wind is going to turn to like a quartering tailwind and it'll push our tail boom around a whole bunch. So that's our, I don't even know what that was called, like orbits around a point or something, I don't really know. All right, you want to take controls and bring us on back?
All right.
Yeah, you've got them all.
All right. I'll go down there.
And we can keep kind of a brisk walking pace here over the taxiway. We're going to go across the runway, make sure no one's coming in on final or taking off or anything.
Down a little.
So we can get all the way up to those lines right there, the ones that cross. Those are the hold short lines. And all the markings and stuff out here is another ground lesson all in and of itself. But basically when you see those lines with the 2 dashed and the 2 solid, you're holding short of the runway when your entire aircraft is on the double solid line side. Watsonville traffic helicopter 18 kilos crossing 20 at Charlie, Watsonville. Okay, we can go ahead and cross.
And we're going to go to the taxiway?
Yeah, we're going to go all the way over.
I dare you to taxi on the left side of the center line.
Hey, man. You said 190, I think it's 250 pulling me over. Right. I'm used to driving, that's my excuse. See, I'm going to go back and drive on the center.
I take no responsibility.
Right. Paul happy here. Go, Paul happy.
Ah, look at that.
Feel like I'm European. And we'll probably just set it down right where we picked up from. I have at least a tour, I think a tour, and then that charter later, so
All right.
we don't need to put it on the car quite yet. Yeah, this is a good speed for right now because we don't want to bug them. They're trying to give a presentation or something. They do that fairly often, I guess. Second or third time I've seen a bunch of people out here.
All right, should I go over the runway or the taxiway? Or?
Yeah, we'll kind of go right
Through it, huh?
I'll just kind of come on a little bit and
Okay.
speed things up because I think they're trying to do a thing. Gonna try not to fly over that stuff. Just a nice set down here.
Wow.
All right, so you can kind of see as we move this around, we get a lot more vibration. So I usually try to find the sweet spot, and then we can go ahead and roll the throttle down to about 60 to 70%, nice and gently. We want to try not to split the needles if we don't have to.
Got 65.
Yeah. And then we'll do, we'll restart our timer, so we'll hit the button here and then the button there, so left and right.
Okay.
And it doesn't always get started there. All right, so now we've got that going, we can turn our frictions back. Actually, we can get our frictions on, and then we'll get our checklist out.
All right.
Order I like to do these in.
On. Okay. So shutdown procedure. So
Just lock that guy right there in your leg.
down. RPM 67%. Okay, slightly pedals neutral. Okay. Drop, throttle closed.
Yeah, so we're waiting for, that's our 2-minute cooldown timer.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just gonna bring that to like 65. We don't want it quite that low yet. There. All right, in the meantime, we can kind of start thinking, all right, what doesn't need to be on anymore? And we're on the ground, so we can turn our landing light off. We can also turn off our radios, so the C knob will come all the way counterclockwise, and this guy will do the same. And that'll say, oh, you lost power, and that's
Okay.
yeah, it just takes a couple seconds to
This
turn
guy,
off.
same
Yep.
thing.
Yeah, and then I'll turn the radar altimeter off. The transponder, I usually just leave that on because it comes on automatically when the battery comes on.
Okay.
This aircraft has 2 strobe lights. It has one that goes on when you turn the master on, and then this one turns on the white one. If there wasn't that big group of people behind us, I would say we could turn that one off because there's not really much risk of someone walking into the tail rotor, but because there's so many people back there and people see a helicopter and they think, wow, cool, I want to go touch it. You know, they will walk right into a tail rotor. Even like experienced pilots have walked into those things while it's running because they just don't even, you know, it's just like, oh, it's a helicopter, whatever.
Yeah.
So for now, we're going to leave that on. And now we're almost at our 2 minutes. So that will be CHT drop throttle close. So we'll bring that guy all the way to the detent, and then we'll disengage clutch.
All right. Cool. So throttle closed.
Yep. And clutch disengaged. Then we'll go 30 more seconds. So wait 30 seconds, and then we'll pull the mixture.
All right.
So 2.5 minutes.
What's all this waiting for? Or like this cool down for?
It's because it's an airplane engine and it's just mounted backwards in there. So like when airplanes use this engine, they pull it. They like taxi around and cool down while you're kind of taxiing.
Sure.
And the helicopter will run at 102% the whole entire time.
Oh.
So it never really gets a chance to cool down when we try to avoid shock cooling.
Okay.
Okay, we can take our headsets off.
All right. You want to hit the top button on that guy?